Hello, everybody. So basically, I'm starting with Java 8 Lambda expression because Java 8 is booming in the market, and there are a lot of opportunities in Java 8. So basically, I'm basically a QA automation engineer. My name is Nikhil, and this is with respect to QA automation. And I'm not giving any QA automation example here. This is basically the overview of how Java 8 works and what are Lambda expressions. We're going to discuss that the same here. So make some notes here, and I'll be sharing this along with this video in the attachment in the section. And so this basically defines what lambda expressions are mentioned here. Like lambda expressions are like anonymous functions. So lambda expression, as you know, like doesn't have a name or class to use this function. So basically, lambda expression is typically, if you would have seen, I hope most of you would have seen how lambda expressions work. Lambda expressions are basically doesn't have a name. So basically, it's an easy way of doing stuff using lambda expression. Let me give you an example here. So for a given, say, here a text here. So for a given value of x, okay, using a lambda expression like x is equal to x plus, evaluates the lambda expression for us. So, or if you want to do system.out.println system dot just print SOP and do print something x, say you want to print x only, it will evaluate the lambda expression. So this is what lambda expression is, what we're trying to explain here. So behind the scenes, there are the functional interface comes into picture. So functional interface are interfaces which has only one. So behind the scene, this functional interface methods, all this lambda, or these are mapped to the lambda. So I mentioned here, like it is implemented using functional interface. Okay, this has only one abstract method without any implementation. So traditional method, what we used to do is basically, our class used to implement the functional interface, and we used to provide body to the interface. So that's a traditional way of doing it. But lambda expression have made things easy for us, and it has made things very. It made the code very lightweight in that area. So as you know, that as we discuss functional interface, we can also see like it contains default and static method, but it has only master method. So it can contain default and static, but it has only one after. Example I've given here is like predicate. Predicate example of functional interface. It takes input of type T and returns a Boolean value. So whatever input you give to the function interface, it takes and it has a particular method, which is the test method. Okay. And that particular test method returns a Boolean value. I'll come to that. So what I'm trying to say here is this thing, like, so this is a functional interface, and we are using this public interface predicate Boolean test. So this is basically the function interface. We define it with the tag aggregate function interface, and basically we try to this function interface. Here we're using a predicate, and this parameter should match with the parameter what we pass in the Boolean test value. This is one thing. So going back to this slide, so this is one example which I want to show for Oracle docs here. Basically, if I go to this Oracle doc, we see that in this particular Oracle doc, we are using a predicate, and it clearly says like, there's a function and therefore used to assignment target for a lambda expression or method reference. So directly we can assign, say if you have a particular variable of predicate P, we can directly assign this particular function interface. It is a interface. Directly assign this to this lambda lambda expression to this predicate, okay, and it has particular method. It's saying like since it is available since 1.8 and it has particular method, test method, it's a Boolean method. So this is how the definition goes. Going back to my slide, I want to explain you with an example here. So this is basically an example of a lambda expression. This is me take Let me take a marker. Have here, maybe this works. Let me try. Yeah. So this is basically a lambda expression, and so what we are trying to do here is class name is lambda expression, which we defined here, and it has a particular print function which accepts a collection and a predicate of type string. Okay. So this is the function we are defining here. In the main method, we are defining an array list, which we are holding, which are passing 3 strings to it, because it's a list, and we are passing 3 strings to it, list of string type. Okay. And what we are doing is we are passing this particular string. We are passing this here. Okay? We are passing this particular list to this print function here. We are passing it over here. Okay. And again, we are passing this particular lambda expression. So what this lambda expression does is, if a particular value comes here, okay, a particular value, say particular ABCD comes here, and it will check whether ABCD ends with C or not. This is how the lambda expression works. But how this, when we are calling this particular function, right? So this particular list as well as the lambda expression, okay, these two things getting uh, added to this particular variables, getting added to this particular variables, these two variables, okay, collection S and predicate P, okay. So uh, just give me a 1 moment, please. I will. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is we're passing a particular collection here, and we're passing uh, a particular lambda expression. So basically, collection go and sits in here in S, and this particular lambda expression go and sits in this particular predicate. And basically, when this particular function, when this particular for loop runs, so basically, each of this particular strings go and sit here. Okay. A, B, C, D, and basically, and it tries to, loop through this particular list. This is holding the list here in S, and each string is trying. We are just running the for loop here, and that particular for loop is traversing through this list and tries to map to each other list. So if this condition is true, then it enters in the if loop, and in if condition, what you're doing is we are calling the predicate P, whatever defined here, and a test function. We know that predicate has a test function and it returns a boolean, right? So basically, when this test function is called, and we have already assigned a lambda expression here to this particular predicate. Okay, so this test function gets called on this test method gets called on this particular predicate. Okay, so when this test method gets mapped to this particular, this test method gets mapped to this lambda expression. So when this test method gets mapped to this lambda expression, so this particular value goes inside, then ABCD goes here and check whether it ends with C or not. If it doesn't, it doesn't print anything. Then BBC goes. So this is how this lambda expression works. It makes your work simple and easy to understand. If you have any doubt regarding this topic, you can add a comment. I'll share the slide also with you. Thank you so much.